Russia and Ukraine. That's a big topic nowadays, and I would love to touch it from different perspective. A lot of times people look into one side or another, and they are not able to find the middle ground. And I think that is very important to understand where is the middle ground. I don't like when people say like they know only one side and they're so right saying that this is the truth, this is the truth, but I do not listen people who do not know other side because they just base their opinions. But I don't know, I lived all my life in a democratic country. I believe in living life by your values, and democratic country values is live by your freedom of choice, freedom of making your uh, word and saying what you believe in, and allowing other people to say what they believe in as well. And this is what I believe in. So I truly believe that everyone's supposed to say what they like, what they don't like, what they hate, what they don't hate. So I'm willing to support everyone who wants to say what they believe in. So I could not agree with other position, but I want to know what kind of position they have. I want to know exactly what they want to share, and then make my own choice, and still do not agree with them, but allow them to say what they want to say. Because I was looking um, one hosting about it, was speaking and chatting about Ukraine and Russia, and one Russian shared his opinion about this case, and they asked him to leave. And for me, it was disgusting. How are you supposed to do that? Because we living in democratic country. Did you read Constitution and our values? Values is democratic values is allow everyone to have their opinion and uh, choose what they believe in and what they don't. So today I want to share both perspectives, probably more from Russian side because most times people are speaking about the America side. Because now Ukrainian and the Russian crisis is more value crisis, democratic value crisis in United States and in NATO itself. So I just want to make sure that from the get-go that I do not support Russian. I think that they do a huge mistake by killing a lot of innocent kids and families and so many people are misplaced. But I just want to emphasize that there is a lot of points that Russia was pushed into. So knowing that, you understand that Russia is not only one aggressor here, even though that at this point they're doing the biggest damage, but there was damage done before Russians went into Ukraine. But first, I want you to look into the values because democratic values is very important. And a lot of times people say that they have some kind of values they have written on their paper, on their vision statements, missions, but they do not live them. So that let's look into some values and how we're supposed to live. So I opened democracycentral.org and I was reading some values of democracy, and basically these values are expressed in the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, and other significant documents. So what it says, I will share a few values. So one is life. Each citizen has a right to the protection of his or her life. So that means everyone's supposed to have the right to live. And I would love to give an analogy. For example, imagine that you have a big family, and your family decided to go to your neighbors. Now, after a while, your neighbors got in an argument with your family. So your neighbors start shooting at your family. So they killed your brother, you killed your sister. Now, what you will do? You have a gun at home. So what you will decide to do? Like, of course, you don't have a police. So this is out of question. So what you will do? Will you stay at home and will look through the gates how your family is killed, or you will interfere and will try to go in at your neighbor's yard? This is not your yard. This is neighbor's yard. But you go to protect your family and kill the neighbor? I think a lot of times people could say, yes, this is my family. I want to protect them. Now, again, this is analogy what Russians saying that Ukrainians is killing people in Donbas region, that in Luhansk and Donetsk. But I don't know is that true or not. But if that's true, what Russian says, that's how potentially they could see that their brothers and sisters are killed at the neighborhood, at the yard. So that means they want to protect. But again, if that's true, why they went to whole Ukraine thing? So that's a little bit sketchy. So I don't know. Like I could see that they attack just those two regions, take over, protect them, and that's it. But at this point, they went over all Ukraine. So that is pretty sad to see, because now like so many kids and families are suffering because of this choice. Now, second is liberty. Liberty includes the freedom to believe what you want, freedom to choose your own friends, and to have your own ideas or opinions, to express your ideas in public, the right for people to meet in groups, the right to have any lawful job or business. So this is, again, liberty allows you to say what you want, believe what you want, and you're not supposed to be judged for that. Because I already mentioned that there was a guy who was asked to get out of the show because he believed in Russia, and that is pretty sad. Because if the host could read this rule, they could understand that this person, even though that has a bad view on our perspective, still has the right to be there. I don't agree with this person who was supporting Russia, but I supporting the freedom of choice, the freedom of word. To have your own ideas and opinions. So that is very, very important. Now, other one is common good. So citizens should work together for the good of all. The government should make laws that are good for everyone. That is a very, very big one. Because when you think about common good, Russia said to United States and NATO that they do not want to see any more NATO expansion to the east. But NATO did it 5 times in a row. Now, Ukraine is the last country close to the Russia. So, United States lied to Russian that they will not move to east, but they moved 5 times. And now they are planning to move even one more time to Ukraine, the biggest country in Europe. And for me, now again, looking into one more analogy or example. Imagine that if someone is standing by your gate, holding a gun and pointing to your house. How you will feel if someone is by your gate, is not in your property, but by your gate, holding the gun and pointing it to you in your house. How you feel? Do you want to sleep? If someone could point to you in my house, I will not feel good. I will want to call police and to make sure that that person is out. But now Russia didn't have police. They do not have anyone to call. And of course they said that, NATO, could you please do not bring your missiles, do not direct your missiles to our homes. But NATO for some reason did it anyways. I still don't understand why they did it, because when I think about Russians were saying over and over and over and over again that they do not want to see Ukraine in NATO. And that means they wanted to say that Ukraine's supposed to be neutral, NATO and Russia. And Russia, I truly believe that Putin is not that stupid. I truly believe that he has a heart. I don't know. I'm a huge believer in people, and I truly believe that he attacked Ukraine not to be an occupant and to bring Soviet Union together. I truly believe that he was afraid of Russian national security. I know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will agree one day that he did it only just because he wanted to occupy Ukraine. But for some reason, because I'm a huge believer in people, I truly believe that he went to Ukraine just to protect his people. Even though that now is killing thousands of kids, families, and that is unimaginable. For me, it's very hard to understand how people could make those choices to move and kill people. But at the same time, I could not believe how Americans was not able to understand that if someone is standing by your gate and pointing a gun to your house, that is a very uncomfortable position to be in. So again, this is one place I think that Biden did a huge mistake when when Russian was by the Ukraine border and they invaded first day. I truly believe that Biden needed to say that I'm sorry that NATO made a mistake. I'm sorry that we didn't listen to you. I understand that this is very important for you. I know that this is national security for you is a big deal. Could we sit down tomorrow or just now and let's figure this out? I don't know. For me, it seems not that complicated, but why people make that complicated? So just, and why Ukraine wanted to get in the NATO that bad? Because I truly believe that Russians are not aggressors anymore. They just did it because they wanted to protect themselves from NATO expansion. I might be wrong, I said, but I truly believe at this point that Russians is not aggressors, could be not aggressors if you don't push them. But I think that NATO wanted Russians to move. I think Americans wanted Russians to move because at this point, because of this, there will be a lot of billions made in army and military bases. So it might be that a lot of people will win because of that. So I don't know who, but it could be nice to know who's making all the money from military side. So now again, the truth: the government and citizens should not lie. For me, it seems that U.S. is lying because Russians is constantly we're saying that we don't want to see NATO expansion. But when you look into the America side, no one is speaking about it. So why is that? Why Russians is constantly speaking and America doesn't speak about it? And they do not show on the media this part. No one is speaking about it. So why is that? For me, it seems that Americans and NATO wanted to make it as a small deal. But this is a big deal. It is a huge deal. Even when I looked into a lot of information, and there was people who speaking 5 years ago, 10 years ago about how big a deal this is for Russians. For example, John Mersheimer, who was speaking that Ukraine will be wrecked if NATO will move to Ukraine. Stefan Cohen was speaking that is a big mistake. There was journalists like Kim Everson was that I was listening as well, that she was saying that as well. Like, there's a lot of people who understood that NATO expansion is pushing Bear into the corner, and of course what Bear will do if the corner, he will fight back, and that is pretty sad. So now when I put everything together, I truly believe that Russian is doing a mistake by attacking Ukraine. But I do not know what they're supposed to do. I still do not know. Like, no one is saying, no American said what they're supposed to do to be heard. Because nothing what they did in the past for 10 years didn't work. They said, oh, we'll speak next year, and nothing got, no answers was made. So now when Russians finally did military attack, because they mentioned that it could be potential military attack if Ukraine will decide to move to NATO. But NATO in action and not believe that Russia could act made this war happen. And I truly believe that everything could be in a much better position. And at this point, a lot of companies, a lot of countries are making sanctions on Russia. But I think that at this point, there's supposed to be a lot of sanctions on America as well, because they made a lot of mistakes. Because a lot of times in the middle, people are pushing, oh, you're supposed to fight. But I don't know. I'm very sad about the position that Ukraine is. I'm very sad about all the things that are happening. But understand that America's supposed to admit what they have done so far, admit that they made a mistake, admit that they pushed Russia into acting like crazy because of America's and United States and all the inaction regarding the pushing NATO to east. Now so many people are dying, and of course a lot of times now people are pointing fingers, and I might be that I'm wrong with a lot of things, because there's a lot of things that people don't know. I do not know all the things that happened and what is the real case, but this is what I have learned so far by my research from both sides. So I would love to that everyone who speaks to everyone supposed to look into both sides, look into what they have, what they do not have, and then make a choice for themselves, and really support people in a different way. Because at this point, everything is happening in the military, but that support needs to be done in the past. So I hope that you will make your choice by yourself.